I wake up before the sun most days now. Not because I have somewhere to be, but because my body doesn't see the point of sleeping past it anymore. The house is quiet in a way it never used to be, the kind of quiet that doesn't wait for anything. I sit at the small table by the window and drink my coffee slowly. It goes cold before I finish it. I don't rush. There's no one to keep pace with anymore. On the wall across from me, there's still a clock that ticks too loudly. I've thought about replacing it, but I haven't. It reminds me that something is still moving, even if I'm not sure I am. I'm 81 years old. I say that carefully now. Age feels heavier when you say it out loud. There was a time when mornings were louder. There were voices, a door opening without knocking, someone asking if I wanted another cup, someone already knowing the answer. That was before I learned how easy it is to lose a person without meaning to. I met him when I was 51. We were both late to something. I don't even remember what it was. A meeting, maybe. Something we both pretended mattered more than it did. We sat next to each other, two men trying not to look annoyed. He leaned over and made a quiet comment about the coffee being terrible. I laughed. That was enough. Friendships at that age don't announce themselves. They don't arrive with excitement. They grow slowly, like something you forget to name until it's already there. We started having lunch once a week, then twice. Sometimes we didn't talk much. We didn't need to. He had a way of sitting with silence that made it feel less empty. I liked that. I had spent most of my life filling silence with work, with plans, with reasons to leave the room. He was different from me in ways that mattered. He remembered birthdays. He asked about my wife and actually waited for the answer. He noticed when I was quieter than usual. I noticed these things about him too. I just didn't say them out loud. 30 years is a long time, long enough to confuse habit with permanence. We raised children, lost parents, retired, watched our bodies slow down in small, humiliating ways. We joked about it, but we both knew the jokes were doing some of the work for us, keeping things light, keeping things from getting too close. Looking back, I can see how I began to pull away. Not dramatically, not in any way that would have alarmed anyone. I missed a call and told myself I'd return it later. I canceled lunch because I was tired. I didn't ask follow-up questions. I let weeks pass without checking in. Each time it felt harmless. Each time I assumed there would be another chance. He never accused me of anything. That's the part that stays with me. If he had been angry, I might have paid attention sooner. There was a day he came by unannounced. He stood in the doorway a little longer than usual. I remember thinking he looked older, thinner. He asked if I had a minute. I said yes, but I glanced at the clock. I didn't mean to. He noticed. Of course he did. We talked about nothing important, the weather, a neighbor, a show neither of us really watched. He left after 15 minutes. I told myself it was enough. Later that night, I tried to remember if he had actually said why he came. I couldn't. That bothered me for about an hour, then I went to bed. This is how distance happens. Not through arguments, through comfort, through assuming the other person understands. My wife noticed before I did. She asked why I hadn't seen him lately. I said we were both busy. She didn't argue. She rarely did. She just nodded and went back to her book. I think she knew better than to push me toward things I avoided. After she passed, he was there. He brought food I didn't eat and stayed longer than I expected. He didn't try to fix anything, he just sat with me. That should have taught me something. It didn't. Grief made me quieter, more inward. I told myself I didn't want to burden him with my sadness. That was the word I used, burden, as if friendship had a weight limit. He kept calling, less often but still regularly. Each call felt like an obligation I didn't have the energy to meet. I let the phone ring. Sometimes I listened to the voicemail later, sometimes I didn't. The last conversation we had was short. He asked how I was doing. I said I was fine. I said it quickly like I always did. He paused. There was something in that pause, a space where I could have told the truth. I didn't. He said we should get together soon. I said yes. I meant it in the vague way people mean things when they believe time is generous. A week later, I heard from his daughter. She spoke carefully, like someone handling something fragile. She told me he had been sick for a while. She told me he talked about me often. She told me he asked if I was angry with him. That part landed differently. I told her no, of course not. I wanted to explain everything. I didn't. There was nothing to explain that would make it sound better. At the service, I stood in the back. I didn't know where I belonged. People talked about his kindness, his loyalty, the way he showed up. I listened and nodded like I was hearing about a stranger. I wasn't mentioned. That made sense. I hadn't earned a place in the stories anymore. When I got home, the house felt larger than it had ever felt. Not emptier, larger, like something had been removed and the space left behind didn't know what to do with itself. I keep thinking about all the moments that didn't feel important at the time, the calls I ignored, the visits I shortened, the way I chose ease over effort. None of it felt cruel. That's what makes it harder to sit with now. I didn't lose him because of one mistake. I lost him because I believed he would always be there, waiting in the same place, patient and understanding. I treated his presence like a constant, not a gift. At my age, there are no dramatic realizations, just quiet ones that arrive when there's no one left to share them with. Sometimes I imagine what I would say if he were sitting across from me now. I don't rehearse apologies, they feel too clean. I think I would just tell him I didn't know how to stay close without feeling exposed, that I confused distance with dignity, that I was wrong. But he isn't here. The chair across from me stays empty. The clock keeps ticking. I finish my coffee, I rinse the cup, I sit back down. This is what's left. You know, I've spent most of my life thinking there would always be another chance, another call, another visit, another day to say what I never did. If this story meant something to you, I'd be glad if you subscribed and turned on notifications. Maybe hearing these quiet, honest reflections can make someone pause, the way I wish I had all those years ago. And if you've got a story of your own, something small or big that you think people should hear, go ahead and share it in the comments. The next story might be yours. Keep remembering, keep reaching, keep holding close the ones you have while you still can.